Would you believe me if I told you that every day you unknowingly see hundreds of things which have peculiar purposes that you've never paid attention to? Well, get ready to be amazed by these everyday design quirks that you most likely never had a clue about.
Amazing!
Number 10. Power cable cylinders. Most people see it every day and have no idea what it's for. You may have assumed it's for decoration, but it's never exactly been an eye-catching object, so think again. It's actually called a ferrite bead, and it suppresses high-frequency noise in the electrical circuits, basically reducing interference in the cable. It's a cheap and effective filter that's rather simple as it's just made from ferrite, with the wire wrapped inside it. Number 9. Wine bottle dimple. The correct term for this dimple is the punt, and it wasn't actually originally made on purpose. You may have seen people putting their thumb into it while pouring wine, but that's just one of its many purposes. It's actually a remnant from the art of glass blowing. In order for the glass to stand up, its bottom has to be flat. But this is no easy task when you're working with glass. The easiest way to achieve a flat base is to push the bottom inside, creating an indent and a flat surface. Additionally, it also comes in extremely handy when the bottle contains sparkling liquid like champagne. It helps to equalize and distribute the internal pressure from the sparkles more smoothly by dissipating it from the sides to the bottom of the bottle. In other words, without this punt, the bottle might simply explode. Number 8. Loop on the back of a shirt. You could probably take a good guess as to what this shirt loop is for, and for most people it sounds logical to assume they're simply for hanging shirts on a hook. This is indeed one purpose, which has been traced back to East Coast sailors who hung their shirts up while changing. The trend then eventually made its way to high street retailers, and in the 60s they were used by men to hang their clothes neatly inside gym locker rooms, hence back then they were called locker loops. But they weren't limited to this. At one point they had a bit of social significance and became part of Ivy League dating culture. University students were said to remove the loop from the shirt when they started dating a girl exclusively, basically like an old school promise ring. Now that wardrobes and closets exist, they are somewhat redundant and remain mostly for decoration. Number 7. Little hole on a padlock. Many padlocks have round holes next to the keyhole. The first use of this hole is a means of lubrication, so that you can pour in oil to the mechanism in case it gets stuck. Secondly, it works as a drain, in case water or other residue makes its way inside the lock. For example, after rain. Padlocks without this hole are typically only meant for use indoors, or will be made of rust-proof materials. Number 6. Blue eraser. Most people think that the different colours can erase different types of writing, with the pink being able to erase pencil, while the blue erases ink. If like me you've ever put this to the test, then you'll have realised that neither side can erase pen very well, often erasing the pen by means of tearing a hole in your work. The blue, gritted side is actually used to erase pencil on heavier weights of paper, whereas the pink side would struggle to erase pencil on these surfaces. The blue part also comes in handy when the pink part leaves behind smudges. It's designed to erase these smudges. Even if you've actually seen text or graphics indicating that the blue part is for erasing ink, then this is just a marketing gimmick. After eraser companies started to realise that few people knew its real purpose, they started marketing it as a pen eraser, despite the fact that this wasn't its original purpose. Number 5. The hole in a spaghetti spoon. All spaghetti spoons have a hole in the bottom, and the most obvious purpose you'd probably think of behind it is so that the water drains when you pick up or stir the spaghetti. This isn't the actual reason though, because it's actually meant to be used to measure out an equal amount of spaghetti for one serving. So instead of simply throwing a bunch of spaghetti noodles into a boiling pot of water and hoping it's enough, you can now be sure you're cooking the right amount, all thanks to this handy hole. Number 4. Tyre bumps. These little bumps between your tyre treads may seem like a manufacturing defect, but in actuality, like everything in this video, they are thoroughly thought out design details. These relieved rectangles actually mark the minimum safe tread height of your tyre. In order for your car to be roadworthy, you must have enough tread on the tyre of your vehicle, or it will be considered too dangerous to drive, and in most countries like the US and UK, you're breaking the law if they look like this. Number 3. Metal strips on gas pumps. Have you ever wondered why these rubbery gas pump wires turn into metal at the top? Well, the reason behind this one is in part due to human stupidity. They ensure that when you drive away like an idiot with the hose still in your car, you don't just destroy the pump. You see, these are just magnetic breakaways, which make sure that you only drag away the rubbery wire instead of the whole damn gas station. Number 2. Toothpaste coloured squares. Online tales have been trying to explain these squares for several years, but they do not represent the chemical content of the product like most are led to believe. In fact, the toothpaste coloured codes are actually known as colour marks or eye marks, which are articles of the manufacturing process. They indicate whether the packet can either be folded or cut as interlocking units stream through machinery at high speeds. These markings can be seen using laser beams at high speeds and aren't actually meant to help you determine which toothpaste you should buy. If you've been buying green for it being the natural variety, then unlucky, because the information under the ingredients is where you should really be looking for such information. Number 1. Plane window holes. The purpose of these little holes in the windows relates to one of the main challenges behind aircraft engineering: air pressure. At cruising altitudes, the atmospheric pressure is far too low for humans to stay conscious, so aeroplanes need to be pressurized. In order to do this, the pressure between the outside and inside of the aircraft must equalize, and this is where that little hole comes in handy. Airplane windows are typically made from 3 super strong layers of synthetic resin or acrylic perspex that is basically just plastic glass. The hole, which is officially called a breather hole, usually resides in the middle pane and acts as a bleed valve, allowing air pressure to equalize between the outer and middle pane, leaving the stronger outer pane of glass bearing the pressure. In the extremely rare case that the outer pane breaks or cracks, the middle pane is there to take the pressure. So it may seem like a tiny fault, but really it's just an important, life-saving detail. Were you surprised by any of these things? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to be amazed.